Hey, it's Rachel, and I wanted to make this video to kind of give you guys the rundown of what my experience at The Voice was like. A lot of people have been asking, and I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. It was a really cool experience. Before I get into that, though, I want to say thank you so much to everyone that was being supportive. I had so many emails and text messages and Facebook messages and comments and likes and all this crazy stuff from all of you saying that you were praying for me and rooting for me, and I appreciated that so much. That was probably like the coolest part about the whole experience, just seeing that support. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. So, I left on Saturday afternoon and I drove to New York City, got to New York City that night, checked into the hotel, went to sleep. The next morning, I went there with Mandy, my girlfriend Mandy and Olivia, my brother Aaron, and Gianna. And Mandy actually had a call from a friend that was there auditioning as well, and her friend told her that she showed up to her audition early, and because of that, she was taken in early. So she's like, if you're trying to get in and out, I suggest you go there early. They'll probably get you in. So we got there an hour and a half early for our audition. It was at 2 o'clock. We got there at 12:30. And it did give us an advantage to a certain extent, and I'll explain that. So we checked in, and we were seated in this huge convention center, and it was kind of sectioned off into 4 sections of chairs, and they were all lined up in rows. And each row consisted of 10 chairs apiece. So we sat in the first row, or the first section, a few rows back. When the whole audition process actually commenced, the producers and the casting people came out and they took groups of people to audition at a time, but they chose them by the row. So the people that we were seated with were the people that we were auditioning with in our room. So when they finally got to our row, they pulled us all out, and we followed them down this long hallway into the smaller room. And in that room, there were the chairs were lined up against the walls, kind of like in an L shape. And one of the producers of the show, was kitty cornered, and there was like a piece of tape on the ground, and they asked us to stand at the tape and sing our song a cappella. So one by one, each person was called up to do this. And when they got to me, I picked Fallen by Alicia Keys. I've done that song a number of times, and I had a lot of people telling me to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Got up, sang it. I felt confident. I know that song quite well because, like I said, I've performed it quite a few times. I felt comfortable and I felt confident in my performance. I think it was a good performance. Got, a nice round of applause. My girl went up, did her song, sounded great, did a really, really good job with it. And in the room, there were, we were among talent for sure. But I feel that my friend and I seemed the most comfortable, at least. It seemed that we had more public appearances maybe, and we were a little bit more confident as far as our demeanor during the singing. So after we were done, everybody auditioned, and after we finished, the producer of the show thanked everyone for coming out, and he acknowledged the talents in the room. And then he said, we'll be back in 3 to 4 months, so we would encourage you to come back. So when we left the room, we thought, okay, we must not have made it because they didn't say anything. So we walked out of the room. We had our wristbands were cut off, and then we had to give them the registration passes. And we kind of went on our way. Well, as we were walking through the convention center to leave, there were people that had these red slips, and those red slips indicated that they absolutely made it for the callback. So we're like, okay, definitely they have the slip. We didn't have a slip, so apparently they must have gotten it. Well, then another girl said that she was verbally told that she was going to get a call back. And then there were also people online that said that the judges had up to 3 days to call you back. So we were kind of confused. It was a little bit ambiguous as to, what the expectations were and how the whole thing was going to be explained. As a whole, though, the event was facilitated beautifully. I was extremely impressed by how organized and structured this environment was. American Idol, when I did it, was crazy. It was like really chaotic. There were people everywhere. The Voice is very organized. They have sections, 2 days they break it up in each city, I think. Maybe one for smaller cities. And they have sessions, A, B, and C. We were the B session. So there was like a morning session, afternoon, and an evening. And by doing that, it completely cuts down the time it takes to audition. It keeps people kind of comfortable. We're not sitting for hours and hours. As a comparison, American Idol was like, 10 to 16 hours, depending. The Voice was like 3 in and out, the whole thing. So that was a huge plus, and I commend them for their efforts in keeping it organized. It's working beautifully. So anyway, when we left, we were still a little bit confused. We waited till 9. We're wondering maybe we'd get a call. We didn't really know. 9 came and went. We didn't get a call. So I'm thinking that it's pretty safe to assume that we were not selected for the show, that I wasn't and my friend Mandy wasn't. But I'm not, it's weird because I'm not upset about it. I mean, I had like a really good experience. I thought it was very organized. I appreciated that organization. I appreciated the other people that were there. I'm very convinced, and they will pretty much tell you, they're looking for something highly distinctive. They want somebody that has a voice that is very different from what we're used to hearing nowadays. And regardless of how well a person sings, they're looking for a factor, kind of like an it factor, an X factor, no pun intended, that makes them different. And I think, though I hope to think, and I tend to think I'm a pretty good singer, I don't think that was necessarily what they were looking for. And I know that you're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. I may not be what they're looking for, but it doesn't mean that other people won't enjoy hearing me sing. And for those of you that are thinking about auditioning, keep that in mind if you don't make it. You're not always going to please everybody. As a whole, I think if you're thinking about auditioning, absolutely go for it, because you never know, and you might have that. Would I audition again? Absolutely. I would definitely audition again. I liked how it was run. I think it was great. And it was a really cool experience. I love New York, so I'm not down about it at all. I know there's like a plan. God has a plan. I'm rolling with it. And I would go back. So if you're thinking about it, definitely do it. And if you have any other questions about it, let me know and I will answer them for you. Mission accomplished. I auditioned for The Voice and it was definitely cool.